Hello, hello, hello. Hi, all, and happy Friday. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on this week. Okay, so I am ready to take the gloves off. I know it's all supposed to be like rainbows and sunshines and love is in the air. Love is not in the air. Okay, it's Filter Free Friday. We're keeping it real. Love is not in the air, particularly for African American women in business or corporate America. Excuse me, let me turn my phone off real quick. I am blowing up. It is busy. um, yeah, love is not in the air. So, what do I mean by that? Um, Bottom line, Black women continue to be looked over and passed over, particularly for promotion and particularly for recognition. Okay. This is in all facets, in all industries. I alluded to the description from entertainment industry. For those of you that don't know, Beyonce Knowles Carter, absolutely world famous artist, has racked up 29 Grammys. Okay. She has now officially, I think, hit like the world record of Grammys at this point. She's the most decorated artist when it comes to musical artist when it comes to Grammys, with the 29 mark that just hit this year. However, as you find out after a cursory search, the coveted award for that particular artist in that particular industry is the Grammys category of Best Album of the Year award. And that has eluded her not once, not twice, not three, but four times now. So, yes, this year she was still passed over for a Caucasian male artist by the name of Harry Styles. Um, I'm gonna guess. I don't know. I mean, because I'm not a Beehive fan. I'm not a card carrying member of the Beehive. I'm not. Um, but I absolutely do like some of her work and some of her songs. Uh, but I'm just gonna guess that if you took a poll worldwide and asked folks from the United States to Australia and every point in between who Beyonce is, the number is going to be much higher than if you were to ask who Harry Styles is. I'm just saying, just saying, just saying. Okay. Um, so anyway, all right. Again, passed over for promotion and recognition. That's just one example. There are many, right? So let's take it to business, to corporate, right? There is an article that was done, a very nice article and a phenomenal um, in-depth I think, well, actually, I won't even say in-depth. It was probably about a 4-minute interview with Charlotte Newman, a Black manager at Amazon, who actually ultimately ended up suing the company for discrimination and sexual harassment. But the crux of it was being passed over for recognition and promotion. So this is a theme that happens. So let me unpack this for y'all. So some of this is going to be validation for the folks that are watching, and some of this is going to be new information. So let me help you. Let me help you understand how this happens, or what we mean by this. Um, African American women in business, professional women, right? Think financial services, think healthcare, pharma, think tech, are extremely highly decorated. By that, I mean lots of degrees and lots of certification. I myself, I have 3 degrees and 4 certifications. Okay. Last I counted. Everybody jokes that says I have more initials behind my name than in my name. And that says a lot because I have 2 first names and 2 last names. So that says a lot. Okay. I am by no stretch a unicorn. I am by no stretch have any black girl magic in my back pocket. That is just good old fashioned hard work. Right, and a lot of privilege to be able to position myself, or to have had a support system and a network of people who have pushed me to do that and to obtain these degrees and higher certifications. Some of those certifications I didn't even want to. Right, I had a supervisor that just was like, hey, you're going and I'm paying for it, it's happening, go to it, girl. So it wasn't of my own fortitude all the time. And that was privilege, again, of the support system and the network of people around me that uplifted me to get me there. And so for those of us women, African American women that through our own fortitude, through our networks, through being at the right place at the right time, some of it's blessing, luck, whatever, we are absolutely getting more degrees and more certifications than our counterparts. So if you think about the barrier, right, the entry level to a lot of these higher up executive positions in these companies, and again, I'm talking about industries that are like financial services, healthcare, tech, et cetera. The entry level barrier is you must have a degree and you must have some certifications, whether it's project management, being an RN, whatever the case may be, in order to get to the decision maker, in order to get to those strategy positions. So if that's the barrier of entry, then why on earth wouldn't more of us be in the candidate pool, right? It's just that something's not making sense, something's not connecting. Well, okay, filter free Friday. Well, it's good old fashioned nepotism. It's good old fashioned. Um, I'm comfortable with the people that are in my network, and the people that are in my network just happen to look like me, right? I mean, that's what we're at the end of the day. The folks that currently have those positions, the folks that are currently in executive seats, that have these strategic, high level, very well paid, very prestigious positions in organizations, and this is from politics to the courtroom to the boardroom. They are typically heterosexual white men, okay, typically. And they breed more folks that look like them, that come from their neighborhood, that come from their background, that come from the schools that they went to. And so because they're comfortable, because they have that close proximity, I mean, think about it. If you're going to promote somebody, if you're going to sponsor somebody, if you're going to recommend somebody for a job, a promotion, a bonus, a stretch opportunity, that person is going to have to deliver. That person, you're going to have to be comfortable with the fact that that person is representing you, and that they're going to kill it basically and knock it out of the park, and you can be comfortable and assured of that. And one of the fast, quick, easy ways to do that is that there's this close level of proximity. This person looks like you, acts like you, reminds you of yourself. So you're going to bring them in close and you're going to mentor them. You're going to coach them. You're going to facilitate their learning. You're going to make sure that they deliver and deliver well. And a quick, easy, comfortable way to do that is to do it in a very nice setting that's probably outside of work, right? That's going to be your lunches, that's going to be your golf outings, sporting events, things that you do normally in your everyday life, right? It's so easy to just invite the person, they're already in your neighborhood, invite them over for you to go boating on the weekend that Saturday and have a couple of drinks on the boat and talk about work and get to know that person. And once you get to know them, really know them, right? Their character, what they stand for, their work ethic, then it's so much easier to recommend them for a promotion or a job, or you can be confident that they're going to lead a new team, et cetera, et cetera. So because of these various layers of identity and difference regarding race, gender, maybe even sexual orientation, you have these layers of difference between African American women and those that sit in the power seats now. So there's this a little bit of uncomfortability because it takes effort on both sides to make that match and to get comfortable with, oh, I know she's going to deliver. That's some extra effort that has to happen, right? You're crossing a couple layers and a couple of barriers. That takes time, that takes effort, that takes intentionality, and quite frankly, y'all, we're busy. Okay. You have to think these leaders that are in these powerful positions, they're running from meeting to meeting, Zoom to Zoom, they're jet setting across the US, going to high power meetings. To actually take time to get to know someone that's not already in their circle, well, to them, that's probably a bit of a tall order. And so that helps to explain at a very base level why we as African American women are constantly being looked over for promotion and recognition. Now, I haven't even touched on bias. I haven't even touched on discrimination. I haven't even touched on blatant racism or misogyny. Those are extra layers that's for another episode. But at the base layer of someone that is not really thinking, right? Someone that's not your average card carrying KKK member, um, that is just like, hey, look, I'm just looking for the best person for the job. I don't care what they look like. I don't care who they are. But underneath it all, when you really think about the decision making criteria that that person is going to have to go through to recommend someone, if they have a candidate pool of 5 people, and my name is Bill, and I've been hanging out with Tom, and Tom looks like me, and he comes from my alma mater, and he's got a wife and 2 kids, and he lives in my neighborhood, and his kids and my kids go to school together, and we go to the same church, versus Charlotte over here, who I don't know her, I don't know her background. I know she works, she kills it at work, but that's all that I know about her, is that she's a good worker. And I don't even really know all that she does. Okay. All right. So that's how it gets down, y'all. That's how it happens. And when I say it happens in the courtroom, I have a phenomenal example here. So this is a little bit, this is Black History Month, so I got to drop a little bit of Black history knowledge. In my research for today, I found out that Amalia Kersey, I don't know if you pronounce the E at the end or not, so apologize if I am mispronouncing your name, Judge Kersey. But Amalia Kersey became the first Black woman to appear on the presidential list for the presidential shortlist for a high court vacancy. So Ketanji was not the first one. It was Amalia. And like Beyonce, was not passed up just once, but 2, 3, 4 times. Yes. As far back as 1981, she first appeared on the short list, and it happened 4 more times over the next 13 years, but was consistently passed over. I love this quote that I found that says, this is a quote from her when she was being interviewed. It says, when I think about what we've lost, this is not a quote from her. This is a quote from the president and CEO of the National Women's Law Center in an interview to Forbes article. President Fatima Graves says, when I think about what we've lost these last decades by not having the perspective of a Black woman on this Supreme Court, it's been worse for the law, and it's been worse for the country. I'll let that sit for a second. How much are our organizations, our hospital systems, our healthcare systems, our businesses, think cyber, think artificial intelligence, think chatbots and software, how much are we losing around innovation, around American market share, around just being people-centric and helping our fellow man? How much are we missing by not having the Black woman's perspective in that boardroom, in that courtroom, on that development team, on that strategy team, on that council? What are we missing? It's to the point where lives could be at stake, especially when we're talking healthcare. Okay. So many time after time, doctors, psychiatrists, and psychologists have misdiagnosed underrepresented populations simply because they couldn't get close enough to understand the cultural dynamic in which the person was operating, could not adequately articulate the knowledge so that the person could understand about how critical it is for them to take their medicine or their true medical condition. Lives have been lost as a result of not being able to bridge these gaps of difference around race, gender, socioeconomic status, language, religion, etc. This is truly a life or death situation. Okay. Um, so I just want to leave that with you in terms of think about what we've lost by not having the perspective of a Black woman. Okay. So with that, we're going to end on a happy note, y'all. I promise, because it is Valentine's Day. So I will do that for you. Um, what can we do about this? Okay. So I'm going to stay in my lane because I'm not a judge. So I can't, thank you for the appointment of Ketanji, Judge Ketanji, because we need that perspective for sure. But there are so many more Ketanjis out there, right? There's so many more Beyoncés out there that are being overlooked in terms of promotion and recognition. So what can we do? What can you do specifically, right? You're like, Angel, I work at a company. I'm not in a power position. Well, I would say join or start an African American ERG. ERG stands for Employee Resource Group. If your organization has one already, what can you do? If that Black ERG is not already doing these two things this year, like not next year, not 2025, not it's on the 5-year roadmap, this year in 2023, that Black ERG needs to do these two things. Ready? One, do what the music industry did, right? Yes, wonderful. Beyonce has her 29 Grammys. Awesome. But guess what? We got the BET Awards. We did our own thing. We literally created our own awards ceremony and show so that we could celebrate and honor our own talent, right? And recently, even more specifically, we have Black Women Rock. We Rock Awards, right? Where it is an entire award show that is specifically dedicated to the recognition and promotion of Black women and our talent, from business to entertainment to sports to community service. That's where we get to shine. We shine our own light. Okay. So the first thing that your Black ERG needs to be doing this year is have your own awards show. That means that you put out, it's just a quick little nomination form. Anybody can nominate, put up the criteria of the Black ERG. So that way nobody else can be all like, oh, hey, we're not Black, so what, we can't qualify? No, it's the Black ERG. And we are putting together our own show. So nominate a person who identifies as African American or from the Black diaspora or the African diaspora. And highlight that person for being a phenomenal salesperson, being good at accounting, project management, whatever, right? Put your own criteria together, unique to your industry, unique to your company, and have an awards ceremony for yourselves, okay? And if you have zero budget to work with, guess what? There's your good old Canva where you can create for free, right? You can create certificates for folks. And one of the best things that you can do for people, and this is again, if you have a budget and you can, have a big gala and a full blown awards ceremony in person or virtually or not, regardless of whether you do that or not, what you must do is you must recognize that individual who was nominated and who was the winner to their direct supervisors. You would be shocked how many direct supervisors overlook the phenomenal accomplishments that their people do every day, day in and day out, especially those that don't look like them. Okay. So make sure that there's an email sent of some sort, a formal communication to everybody who was even nominated, right? Think about it. Think about the prestige it is to say that you're an Oscar nominated actor or you were a Tony nominated artist, right? Just to be nominated is in and of itself prestigious. So even the folks that are nominated and the winners, they get high recognition to their direct supervisor, and it can go in their developmental plan. That's something that they can now take that's tangible, that they can help them build their own business case, right? The second thing that you must do is every single member of that Black ERG must have a developmental plan. Forget if their supervisor doesn't do it for them. You as members do it for each other. Okay, so here's what goes down, y'all. I personally, this is just me personally, anecdotal. I can't say what the stats are. I personally have never been a part of a developmental conversation for an underrepresented person of color specifically, that's Black, Latinx, of a different religion, and had a full blown, here's their career promotion. Like they're starting off here as a senior PM, and then they're going to get to executive PM, and then they're going to get to global, and then they're going to get to director, then or manager, then director. I've never had that conversation proactively. I have always had to be the one to push for it if I was their manager. Always, every single time. Every single time. I have said, okay, they're here now, but what are they going to do next? And what are they going to do next? What is their entire career progression for the next 3 to 5 years? What roles, what experiences, where do we see them going? I've always been the one to push for that conversation. However, you best better believe when Bill and Becky hit the scene and they get promoted, my upper management was having conversations about what they're going to do next after this. They just were promoted, hot off the press. Promotion was announced on March 8th. And 2 weeks later, we're having a conversation about what their next role is going to be. We don't even know if they're going to be able to perform at the role that they just had because they don't have the experience or the skills. It was a stretch opportunity. We're just hoping and guessing that they're good versus the African-American counterpart who's been doing the role that they were finally promoted into for like the last, year. Okay. That's the difference between being promoted based on experience versus potential, by the way. So if the supervisor and the person does not have a 3-year plan on after this role, where am I going to go next in the organization, whether that's a different business unit, whether that's a lateral move for more experience, whether it's a complete, supervisory experience, maybe I'm going to get some more technical acumen somewhere else, whatever the case may be, here's my plan. Create that for your members in your Black ERG. If they don't have it for themselves, you all help each other create it for yourselves. That this year, that has to happen now, right now, right? And that's what that plan that they have in all their paper, that's what they're going to use to have a very succinct, probably hard, developmental conversation with their direct supervisor, because they're going to need their supervisor support to make that plan happen, right? They're going to need to create a support network. And if they don't have a support network to make that plan happen, it will not happen. Okay. So the plan on paper is just the first step. The second step is that they're going to have to get some support to make it come to fruition. And they're going to have to get, and most likely will probably have to get creative about how they do that. But before they can even get that support, they're going to need to get the feedback. They're going to need to get, hey, how likely is it that I'm going to be able to hit these milestones and make this progression in this organization? Do you all see me making this progression all the way up to VP or whatever level it is that I'm trying to get to? And very often that's when you'll get a lot of, shooking and jiving and dancing and, oh, well, we don't know. Yeah, but obviously, for Becky, because Becky and Bill have their whole next 3 roles planned out. So why don't you know for me? Okay. So I have left you all with a lot of homework, a lot of things to do. And keep in mind, if you're watching this and you see yourself as an ally, the best way that you can be an active ally is to partner with the leaders of your Black ERG, share this video with them and say, hey, how can I help with, 1, getting your folks that award, maybe helping them get with budget, or helping them to communicate and craft this award recognition. And then two, how you can then lend your services and your skill set and your background and feedback to helping others create their long-term strategy. It might just be simple as having a 30-minute conversation with an associate and saying, hey, where do you see yourself at in this company in the next 3 years? And then helping them just talk through and getting creative about some roles or some experiences that they didn't even think about, right? It could just be that simple. So that's your proactive ally tip for this week for Black History Month. All right. So with that, thank you all. I know that was a lot, but at the end of the day, recognize Black women for their efforts, their experience, their talent, and all that they bring to the table. And not only recognize, but promote by going on LinkedIn, by sending a recommendation, by giving a shout out to their supervisor. Actively do something to uplift Black women this week. So with that, thank you and goodbye. Blessings all.